Greetings to all Southern Cameroonians on ground zero and across the world. This is King Angel. My discussion of today is titled The Spiritual Father of Unity in Ambazonia, Mola, Njoh, Litumbe, who passed away. As I noticed the news of what happened to this great man, one thing that I noticed is that all the platforms in, about Southern Cameroon were talking and writing about this man. You had leaders like Choayaba, um, Chris Anu, people from different fractions of the Ambazonian struggle, speaking, the surrogates of the different fractions, surrogates from the AGOVC, surrogates from the interim government, National Telegraph, Eric Tato, they were all talking about the passing of this great man, which when I was coming back from home, after looking at everything that I saw on Facebook about this man that passed away, it came to me, I was like, what title can I have? Unity. All the platforms that have been fighting against each other, we're talking about one person, Mola, Njoh, Litumbe. What does that stand? It stands for unity. That is one man all across the fractions of groups inside Southern Cameroon could bring all the groups to discuss about this one man in a positive light. Unity. So I decided to say this great man who has given his life for the struggle of Ambazonia, who has educated so many Southern Cameroonians about the struggle, should be titled the spiritual father of unity in Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia. I say this because at this moment, at this time, what Southern Cameroonians need is unity. If they want to see the dream of this great man, Mola, who passed away. If they want to see his dream become a reality, all fractions, from Cho Ayaba to the interim president or the president, Dr. Sako, National Telegraph or Doc, Eric Tato, must find a way to speak with unity. They may not like each other, but the interests of Southern Cameroon come first. And when we are fighting for the liberation of Southern Cameroon, we all Southern Cameroonians must keep this man in mind, because he must remind us of unity, of the reason why we decided to fight this war against La République du Cameroon. And unity does not necessarily mean that we all have to be in one place to fight the revolution. It doesn't mean that we have to be in one group to fight the revolution. It doesn't mean that we have to be under the interim government to fight the revolution. It doesn't mean that we must be part of the ADF to fight the revolution. We can be in multiple groups, but so long as we have the interest at heart of Southern Cameroon, of Ambazonia, that is unity. And that is what we need in order to stay focused, so that we can actualize, we can realize, we can see the future of Southern Cameroon become a reality. This unity is destroying this revolution. And the spiritual father of unity in Ambazonia, who just passed away, Mola, should remind all Southern Cameroons, despite what fraction, what group you're part, despite the fact that you're of AGOFC, of ADF, of ANA, of the interim government, the Ambazonian Restoration Forces. Southern Cameroon is one. And in order for this dream to become a reality, we must work as a team. Working as a team does not mean that we cannot have multiple names. Working as a team does not mean that ANA cannot cooperate with ADF, or ANA cannot cooperate with the Ambazonian Restoration Forces. Working as a team does not mean that we must have only one name. It means that we must defend the 14 counties in our prospective county and cooperate with one another in order to help each other in one town, in a village, or across the local area as well as the counties. That is the purpose, that is the aim, that is the reality of what Ambazonian National Army stands for. Cooperation. ADF must cooperate with ANA, and ADF must give room for ANA to grow, as well as the interim government with the Ambazonian Restoration Forces must give room for all other forces to grow and defend the territory of Southern Cameroon. That is what unity means. That is the reality. That is the truth about unity. And this is what is killing Southern Cameroonians, from the surrogacy of groups, the interim government surrogacies, the AGOFC surrogacies, fighting against each other, the interim government claiming that they are the only government inside Southern Cameroon, which is not true. First of all, interim government, you are a group just like the AGOFC. You are a group or an organization just like AGOFC. You are a group or an organization just like DARC. And you all have your own military wing. And this military wing, with all the military groups inside Southern Cameroon, incorporates and becomes part of the Ambazonian National Army. That is the idea of ANA. To work as one, to work as a team inside Southern Cameroon. We must think of our spiritual father of unity in Ambazonia in order for us to work, in order for us as Southern Cameroonians to grow and defeat La République du Cameroon. We must cooperate. We are a small nation fighting against a big nation like La République du Cameroon. La République du Cameroon is bigger than us. La République du Cameroon is well trained. They have their military. But so even with the well trained military for the past 4 years we've been fighting, we have still taken them down. But what we are lacking is teamwork. What we are lacking is making sure that all our defense forces have the best weapons, have the AK-47, they have all the ammunition they need to fight this war. Because with our people all across, the refugees all across the world will not have a home if we don't defeat the forces of La République du Cameroon. We can continue to make sure that the refugees are okay. But so long as we don't win the war, then the refugees will never have a home and they will never have a place of theirs. We'll be children without home. We are all children without home. Southern Cameroon is our home, and Southern Cameroon is the home that we must defend, protect by any means necessary. With all our might, our strength, the spiritual father of unity should be on our minds, in the minds of Cho Ayaba, in the minds of Dr. Sako, in the minds of Eric Tato, in the minds of all the frontline leaders who have the interest at heart, who are spiritually linked to that nation known as Southern Cameroon, Ambazonia. We must think as one, act as one, or if we don't, we shall perish. The military of Litumbe, Cameroon will come in, kill our people, go out, go wherever they want to, and continue to bring disaster and mayhem and destruction inside the land of Southern Cameroon. But in order for us to stop that, we must provide the military forces. We must provide the necessary protection that our military forces need to defeat Litumbe, Cameroon. A lot of Southern Cameroonians complain and say that the county by county has destroyed the revolution, but that is not true. Some may even say that the block by block strategy also failed the people, but that's not necessarily true. The blame of what is happening inside Southern Cameroon, with the fact that we cannot progress, with the fact that we cannot defend and the fact that we cannot defend our territory and defend our people and actually liberate counties inside Southern Cameroon, or even villages and towns inside Southern Cameroon, is the fact that we are disunited. But as I said, with the passing of the great spiritual father of unity, Mola, Njoh, Litumbe, with him, every Southern Cameroonian, from the frontline leaders down to the citizens, must always have that behind their mind. We are children of Southern Cameroon. It doesn't matter if we're from Northern Zone or Southern Zone. It doesn't matter if we're from Bamenda or Boya. It doesn't matter if you're from Manfi. We are children of Southern Cameroon. And Litumbe, Cameroon is killing children of Southern Cameroon, both men and women, kids, pregnant women. It doesn't matter. So long as they are Southern Cameroonians and they speak English, they take them out. They take us out. So we must be spiritually linked as a people to stand the storm that is to come inside Southern Cameroon. The storm that we must demolish, destroy, obliterate. And that storm is Litumbe, Cameroon. It is the military of Litumbe, Cameroon. We must demolish, destroy, obliterate the storm that they are bringing inside the land of Southern Cameroon. We must do that. But to do that, we must do that unitedly. Unitedly doesn't mean that we have to be in one specific location. This is the thing that Faka Eugene does not understand. This is the thing that Asu Lucas does not understand. This is the thing that Franklin Vella does not understand. This is the thing that the surrogates of AGOC and of the interim government do not understand. When Eric Tato came up with the idea of ANA, it doesn't mean that is gonna be the only force on ground zero. It doesn't mean that uh, the other groups will not be able to fight in the revolution. That's not what it means. It doesn't mean that we're not going to apply guerrilla warfare, county by county, or block by block, or local by local. Does not mean that we're not going to apply guerrilla warfare. We will apply it, but we will do so unitedly, understanding that we are one, fighting against the enemy known as like Republic du Cameroon, working from all the 14 counties and the local areas in the 14 counties and the blocks in the 14 counties. War is understanding where to fight and when to flee in order to fight another day. So knowing your surroundings all over the 14 counties will give you a leverage to fight the war. So saying that look, county by county destroyed the revolution by killing people is wrong and it's stupid. Saying that the block by block is the only strategy to fight inside southern Cameroon is wrong, because block by block is part of the local area and is part of the county, which is part of the state known as Ambazonia. People need to understand that the geographical area that we are fighting in is vital to the survival of southern Cameroon. But because our leaders were trying to sell out their own message through their quick scheme of selling information, coming up with local by local, county by county, or block by block, saying that theirs is the best. Meanwhile, it is something that must be interconnected, because local by local is part of the county, makes the county. Block by block is part of the local area that makes up the county. Knowing where and when to fight will determine how you succeed. But in order to survive, the local areas must work together. The blocks must work together. The counties must work together. That is teamwork. That is the meaning of ANA, Ambazonia National Army. As I said, surrogates who want to sell their own message would downplay county by county. So that their ideas will be bought. As I said, all these three ideas, local by local, county by county, block by block, is all part of the strategy that must be embedded, must work as one, as a team. A soccer playing team cannot win if they're not working together. If the goalkeeper is not catching the ball, if the players are not doing what is needed for them to score a goal. Teamwork. The defense must work with the offense, and the goalkeeper must make sure that it's protecting the goalposts, or it will not work. They will lose. This is exactly what all these groups inside Southern Cameroon are doing, and which is why it's causing casualties in our people. 15,000 people dying because our leaders are too thick-headed and too egoistic to think that they could talk to this person because this person is younger, this person is a small person, this person is bigger, this person is this person is the president, they must listen to the president. But as I said, we are fighting a revolution. There is no government. The interim government is not a government. The government of the people of Southern Cameroon will be created after we have actually won the war and reclaim our land. Then we could put a government. And all the groups, those on the ground who fought the war, will have to come up with the best government system or creative best government system that will work for the interests of the people, not the other way around. It's not the interim government who thinks that their interim government will just host a government position without consulting the other groups that were involved in the revolution. That is dictatorship. In other words, you're just replacing uh, Bia with the interim government or replacing Bia with a GovC. That would be dictatorship, tyranny, and we would not tolerate that in Southern Cameroon. The blood of the people would not flow for someone to just come and sit because he has the bigger force or he claims to be the interim government. You're an institution, organization that was created to fight for the revolution, and you're not the only organization that is fighting for this revolution. There are other organizations, there are other military groups, there are other people who are also involved in the liberation fight of Southern Cameroon. So they'll have a say when the government is being created after the revolution has been won. As I said, the spiritual father of unity that has actually encouraged all the platforms, all the citizens who are fighting and who are wishing, who are in pains to see the freedom of Southern Cameroon of Ambazonia was speaking with one voice, telling the story of our spiritual father of unity, Mola, Njoh, Litumbe. Southern Cameroonians have said, on ground zero and across the world, this man who has given his life, who has worked so hard to encourage all Southern Cameroonians to be involved in the liberation fight against La République du Cameroon. Must think about that man as we fight this revolution. This man must inspire us to be more united, to be more tolerant when we speak with one another. We must be able to tolerate many surrogates in the AGOFC or the interim government are not so tolerant towards their own citizens of Southern Cameroon who are going through pains as much as they are going through pains because of La République du Cameroon. And because of that, when you express your mind, when you express your thoughts as a citizen of Southern Cameroon, some will go as far as saying that you are a La République agent without any proof, just because your own perspective, your own points of view differs with them. We are people and we have a mind of our own and we have thoughts of our own. The fact that I may not agree with you here and here and here doesn't mean that I am against the liberation of Southern Cameroon. And the fact that Eric Tato might not agree with everything that Cho Ayaba does or with what the other surrogates of the interim government does and say does not necessarily mean that it will just go out and say, oh, you are a public agent. We are children of Southern Cameroon, born of it or born out of it, born inside Southern Cameroon or born out of Southern Cameroon, from parents from Southern Cameroon. We are children of Southern Cameroon, and most of what important, we are children of Africa, and that we mustn't forget. We're fighting a liberation for Southern Cameroon, but in other words, we're also fighting a liberation for Africa, because Africa is a continent that has not seen freedom, true freedom, for more than 500 years. The West controls Africa. The East is marching in as we speak. Africa is not liberated. So when we fight to free Southern Cameroon, we should also know that we also have to fight to free Africa, our motherland. Southern Cameroon is just part of that continent. But as I said, henceforward, Southern Cameroonians from all across the groups must learn to be tolerant and try to understand or listen, even if you don't understand the perspective of another person. Just don't go on, oh, you're like public, I'm blocking you, blocking you, blocking. That's what they're all doing. Block, 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 block. And that's not even helping the revolution. You can't block when you're fighting for freedom. What you're doing is anti-freedom. Not allowing people to express their thoughts because their thoughts is against what you're thinking. So by doing that, since you are hosting, you just block, block, block. That goes across the AGOC, the so-called interim government that claims to be the government of the people with their own news channel. They're black as well. The only group, the only platform that is very inclusive, that is able to talk across all the groups inside Southern Cameroon is SCBC. That SCBC stands for the freedom of expression in Ambazonia. So the AGOC are not as tolerant. You know about the king of propaganda in AGOC or in ADF, Tapang Ivo. When he starts talking, he says, block everybody that's saying something against black, 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 black. He doesn't care. You don't care, but you're in the public eye of the people of Southern Cameroon, and you claim to be fighting for the people of Southern Cameroon, yet you cannot allow the people of Southern Cameroon to express themselves in your platform. So what type of freedom are you fighting for? Are you fighting to take their freedom away by blocking them from expressing their points of views because you have a platform and you can use the platform as you see fit? But that platform is supposed to be serving the people of Southern Cameroon. So what you're doing is anti-freedom. Most of those people who are fighting for freedom for Southern Cameroon don't even understand that. And yet they say they're fighting for the freedom of Southern Cameroon. But the people of Southern Cameroon cannot express themselves by making comments in your platform that is supposed to be representing all Southern Cameroonians. All Southern Cameroonians do not have one perspective, one point of view. They have it's it's in multi views. People have different views. And that's what I was saying. Southern Cameroonians. This is the spirit. This is the spiritual father of unity in Ambazonia. Mola, who is of late. I have seen many Southern Cameroonians speak with high respect, reverence for that man. If we want to keep his hope going, the military of Southern Cameroon should plan something humongous, something huge. The ADF, the Ambazonian Restoration Forces, and then with the newly ANA should plan something big against La République de Cameroon. His passing away should motivate, inspire all the military forces on Southern Cameroon to work as a team so that we cannot be killing each other while we're trying to kill La République de Cameroon. Misunderstandings and mistakes that kill our own people who are fighting for the liberation of Southern Cameroon should stop. The fact that one group does not share the views of another group shouldn't mean that we should fight against each other. And I will say this: ADF alone cannot secure the independence of Southern Cameroon. The Ambazonian Restoration Forces, which is part of the interim government, alone cannot free Southern Cameroon. And ANA alone cannot free Southern Cameroon. All the military groups must work as a team from all the 14 counties, starting liberating one or two or three counties and moving forward. We have made Southern Cameroon to be ungovernable. Now is the time to free counties across Southern Cameroon. Now is the time to completely liberate towns, cities, villages, and counties across Southern Cameroon so that those who are staying, who are living inside Southern Cameroon can have an air to breathe. And as we free our counties and push forward push the war into La République de Cameroon, in the next 2 or 3 years, we should be able to do that. Push the war inside La République de Cameroon and leave it there so that they feel the pain of war that they have decided to bring down on Southern Cameroon. When Douala is burning in war, or when Yaoundé is burning in war, they will understand the wrath of Southern Cameroonians. Yeah, that is what we must do as Southern Cameroon. It's a teamwork to win this war. ADF alone cannot win this war. Ambazonian Restoration Forces alone cannot win this war. The other groups on ground zero alone cannot win this war. It must be teamwork. And teamwork doesn't mean we have to be in one area. It's just that we have to understand that ADF is fighting. ANA is fighting. All other military groups are fighting to liberate Southern Cameroon and not fight to regain power within a revolution that we are fighting like public. That is just killing the revolution. That's what we must learn within the past 4 years that we've been fighting among each other while trying to fight like public. That pathway would not work. When AGOFC or when ADF is fighting against Ambazonian Restoration Forces, or when the Ambazonian Restoration Forces are fighting against the ADF, while La République is going out killing our people, that would not work. Southern Cameroonians, it will not work. We must divide the labor. ADF can stick to certain counties inside Southern Cameroon and liberate those counties. as well as Ambazonian restoration forces, pick certain counties and liberate those counties and coordinate with the rest of the other groups, as well as ANA. We must liberate Southern Cameroon, and we must do that through counties, liberating towns in those counties to the point where a whole county like Meme is liberated from the forces of La Republic of Cameroon, or a whole county like Manu is liberated from the forces of La Republic of Cameroon, or when a whole county like Bui is liberated, and so on. That is the goal we must do within the next 2 years as we liberate those counties by making sure that all our defense forces have the weapons, the AK-47, to fight against La Republic of Cameroon continuously. Guerrilla warfare and other strategy will be applied. And as we gain grounds in controlling our counties, we push the war inside La Republic of Cameroon so that La Republic of Cameroon will burn with the fact that they have a bad economy, and then they have their own cities and towns and being destroyed and obliterated. That is when they will understand that they must give in and give our independence. And that's where we will sit on the table and discuss negotiation against having our, what we discuss in together with other parties, making sure that they were signing to to get our independence and be an independent state. We must force the hands of La Republic to the discussion table, and the only way to do that is to liberate our counties. To do that, we must work as teams to liberate our county. To do that, we must work as team to push the war into La Republic de Cameroon. We must work as a team, because the interim government alone cannot win this revolution. AGOVC alone cannot win this independence. And ANA alone cannot win this independence. But when we do work together as all the platforms owned by Southern Cameroonians who are speaking for the liberation of Southern Cameroon spoke so dearly about the passing of the spiritual father of unity in Ambazonia, Pa Mola Njoh. Every platform was talking about this great man. We should use our platform to speak of positivity and unity in fighting against La Republic de Cameroon. Strength is unity. Strength is power. The richest people in the United States are people who were killed in the numbers by Nazi, but they're one of the richest people and well organized. Well, how did they do it? Teamwork. I'm trying to remember the goddamn name, man. I can't think of it. They were killed in the thousands, millions even, during the Nazi era. But they are one of the richest people in the world. Well, how did they do it? Teamwork. Southern Cameroonians must learn to work as a team. There's nothing the strongest force. And the strongest force, known as ADF, cannot liberate one county, two counties. Then how you claim to be the strongest force? When the strongest force cannot save the people from dying, 15,000. How can you claim to be the strongest force? The strongest force within a group that is fighting for liberation. Yet you haven't won the liberation. That's just ridiculousness. Stupidity. You can't be strong when your people are dying. The people we're supposed to be protecting can't be strong. The only time you see strength in is in numbers. A united group survive more than the strongest few who want to claim to be the strongest. Teamwork is the key, Southern Cameroonians. And this great man should be a continuous reminder that we must work as a team or we will perish. This is King H. Till next time.